awesome squad put together. Mel's got a mock draft. We're going to wait till you see what he's got the Jets doing. Holy smoke. You see the team we've got together here. Dominique is there. He's got artwork from his kids. There's nothing better than that. All that is on the way. We begin with the game of the night, the comeback of the year in the NBA. So you got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, OKC, best team in the league, can't be stopped. Timberwolves, OKC is blowing them out. This, at one point, OKC led by as many as 25. SGA knocks that down. He had 39. But then Tim Legler, with Anthony Edwards on the bench, the Timberwolves just mount a crazy comeback.
Yeah, look, give them credit because they kept playing, and a lot of teams wouldn't have. They probably would have emptied their bench with 3:40 to go. They kept playing, but Oklahoma City greatly contributes to it. Too many fouls, stagnant offensively, and then just a silly play by Alex Caruso right there that allows them to tie the game late.
16-0 run with Anthony Edwards on the bench. The game goes to overtime. OKC down 1. Caruso. Yes, OKC now back up 1 again, but with 30 seconds remaining in the OT and Minnesota down by 1. Look at this crazy sequence, Legs. How many opportunities can you get?
I don't know how Lou Dort comes away with that clean, but then he's unaware as he tries to head up the floor, loses it. Put back here by Reed, and he gets fouled on that.
And makes the foul shots. T-Wolves up by 1. 20 seconds to go. SGA, remember I mentioned Anthony Edwards didn't play the end of regulation? Look at the defense.
It's incredible because he sat out the end of regulation and he stayed with it mentally, and he makes one of the more impactful defensive plays he's made in his career. This is just incredible weak side timing to save the game.
On the presumptive MVP, so now it's a 3-point game, and here's SGA to tie it, and it's no good, and oh my God, Minnesota won. They were down, as I mentioned, as many as 25 points and came all the way back on the road to win. Ant winds up with 17 and 13, but his teammates absolutely won this game for him. I mentioned SGA had the 39, but that's a bad loss. OKC, look, still very much in control of the Western Conference. 8 games clear, 8.5 now as we see, of the next closest team. Rest is sort of bunched up near the top. But pay attention in that 4 spot to the Lakers. They were in 7th place on January 14th. They're 14 and 4 since. They're just 3 games out of the 2 spot. And in case you missed it, Stephen A. had this to say about the Lakers coming off a 23-point win over Denver over the weekend.
I can't front. The Lakers looked marvelous. When JJ first arrived, we knew it was an upgrade from Darvin Ham offensively, but downgrade defensively. Now we're seeing the Lakers come along defensively in a very, very impressive fashion. And if that continues, there's no telling what they could do in the West. They can make some noise. So I got to stand down, Shay. I got to look at the Los Angeles Lakers and go like this. Yo, these brothers got a chance. They got a chance to legitimately win the West.
Holy smoke. So here we go. The Thunder blow a huge lead and lose. The Lakers have the spotlight game maybe so far of the season with the Mavericks coming into town. Luka against Dallas. Is Stephen A. right?
He's not right yet, but I love that he channeled the Fernando.
Yeah.
They look
marvelous.
You look marvelous. But they do right now. They did Saturday. They caught everybody's attention. And now, as they already were a compelling watch for the rest of the season just because of the Luka-LeBron dynamic. But now it becomes a matchup thing. And how do they look against certain matchups? You know what I'm looking for, Legs? I am looking forward to seeing J.J. Redick in a playoff series coach. Because if he put that kind of maniacal preparation into that game against Denver, and Denver had been a team, and that place in Denver had been a house of horrors for this Laker team when Anthony Davis was there, and he was like, no, we're going to find a way to win and beat this team. I can't wait to see him coach a 7-game series.
Well, I learned pretty quickly in all the work I was doing with JJ and the collaboration with him on different things, just talking the game. Very few people see all 10 players at the same time like JJ and the details that he's going to see in live action, in practice, much less in a film session when you're dialed into one team. Game after game, making those kinds of adjustments, very few people are going to be able to see all of that and incorporate that and communicate that the way that J.J. Redick can.
And I don't want to overreact. They play 82 of these games over the course of a season. What reaction should we have to OKC comfortably in front at home by 25 points and losing a game last night that they lose there? People are looking for ways to suggest they are not invincible or whatever it is. Should we go that far coming off last night?
It's a terrible loss. Make no mistake about it. But it's one night. It's one game. And it actually is going to be the best thing that's going to happen to Oklahoma City. I'm telling you right now. And you heard Shea talk about it after the game. This is a lesson in not taking your foot off the gas in a game. Because this was, sure, Minnesota kept playing. They played hard. A lot of this was Oklahoma City's stagnancy offensively, taking too many threes, which is not in their wheelhouse. They took a ton of threes, and Minnesota went to this sort of hybrid 2-2-1 zone where they were two guys extended, trapping Shea almost at half court, making him give it up early. So I will say that's something that Mark Daigneault has seen for the first time, and he's probably going, wait a second, this was interesting. They took the ball out of Shea's hands. We ended up with a lot of wing threes. That's not our strength. And it allowed them to come back. So this actually could help Oklahoma City down the stretch. Look, they clearly have been the best team in the Western Conference. Now there's teams coming for them. And the question is, can you narrow the gap with them in time? By the time you get there, clearly the Lakers are one of those teams that are in that conversation. I'm not worried about one blown lead at home in a back-to-back situation against the same opponent. I'm just not.
I'm always looking for angles, though, for a team. What's the weakness? What can we find? And I think maybe that's something that was exploited there a little bit that you'll watch. And also for Shea, close out that game and still get the win, and he couldn't do it. That was a great play by Anthony Edwards, but there were a couple other times he had the ball where there was nowhere for him to go. They bottled him up. And there's always that, hey, maybe we found something here, and keep an eye on this when you get a matchup in the playoffs.
I also am fascinated by the fact that we chose the word impenetrable. Of all the different things, of all the different ways we could have described what the Thunder might not be as a result of last night, we went with, you can't penetrate them? Inevitable, I think was the word. Something like that, one way or another. Look, it's a good word. It tells the story. I understand. I just think it's a fascinating choice. All right, one way or another, we have much.
Since being traded, that is the focus of our morning shoot-around. Luka's averages with the Lakers, not eye-popping through 4 games just yet, averaging 19 points per, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. And the Lakers, they're 2-2 in the very, very early goings of the Luka Doncic era with him and LeBron James. But we may have seen this team's final form on Saturday when they beat the Nuggets in Denver by 23. LeBron and Luka combining for 57 of the Lakers' 123. Only turned the ball over twice between them both. Luka had a cool 32, the most so far for him in a Lakers jersey. Now here's the top of the West and how it currently looks. The Lakers show just 2 games behind the Grizzlies for the 3 seed. One thing going against the Lakers is they have the 5th hardest remaining schedule among Western Conference teams, and that starts with the Mavericks tonight. That game, though, in LA, so Luka with some home cooking now is Tim Legler back with us. Legs, what should we expect to see from Luka tonight against his old squad?
Well, look, I don't think there's any question he'd like to take a blowtorch to him, right? So I think, the heat check normally comes after you make 2 or 3 shots in a row in a game. I think his heat check might come right off the first possession. I think he's going to go ahead and test the waters and see how he's feeling first. But at the same time, look, because this is so close to when all of this transpired, I don't know that Luka is there yet in terms of how he feels physically, his conditioning, to be able to go drop a huge number on them. And also, just does that take away from the Lakers' momentum and getting them off track and what they should be focused on? I do think that time will come, that moment will come, and it'll probably come when the Lakers go to Dallas in April, when you expect Anthony Davis to be on the court. It's going to be on that court, right, in that city. I think that's going to have greater significance for Luka in terms of the night he wants to have. But make no mistake, if he comes out, hits a couple early threes, he might try to drop 40 or 50 on them. And I think LeBron would be the perfect person to help him accomplish whatever he wants against this team.
Maybe that rematch with the Mavericks in Dallas in April is probably when the Lakers would prefer Luka to come into form, because that's when the Lakers will be knocking on the start of the playoffs. That being said, Legs, does Luka make LA legit contenders out west?
Yeah, look, I think right now you got Oklahoma City clearly as the team that we expect to be in the conference finals. I think everybody pretty much does that. Yeah. Now there's a group of teams. Take your pick. If I put all those teams into a hat and pulled them out, I can make a compelling case for about 5 teams that could be that team against Oklahoma City. The Lakers clearly are one of those teams. So to me, when you define contender, what are you really talking about? For me, it means at minimum conference finalist, because at that point, you're one series away from the NBA Finals, and I think the Lakers obviously are now in that group. I think Golden State has elevated themselves to that group. You've got Memphis, you've got Houston still there, and obviously you've got Denver, who has been red hot until that game against the Lakers on Saturday night. So there's a group of teams, the Lakers firmly entrenched in that mix, and they might be the team over a period of the next 2 to 3 weeks that separates themselves, where you go, hey, I think the Lakers have a legitimate shot to get to the finals. I'm not quite ready to go there just based on this small sample size with Luka and LeBron.
Jockeying for position are those Lakers, who again are currently 4th in the Western Conference.